I'm so glad that you have put a particular emphasis and focus on permitting reform. It's something I've thought about and worked on for many, many years. And I know that you said you were content but not satisfied with the governor's budget for your department. I can tell you I'm neither content nor am I satisfied with permitting here in Pennsylvania. And we had some excellent conversations. I was so glad to hear you say that it's not just that the actions by those permitted entities, but also that you have to look at the department themselves. We discussed several of my small boroughs who were given waivers back in 2020 on IOC testing and monitoring, and received these very convoluted letters and instructions, only to find out that even though they had a 9-year waiver for testing, they still had to test in the 3rd year, and now they find themselves not in compliance. And that comes with fines, and it comes with embarrassment to the community. Very seasoned professionals who want to do the right thing, and because of how convoluted and nebulous those instructions from DEP are, find themselves in violation. So there's a lot we can work on there, and I think it would be so, so helpful. And as you know, I'm the prime sponsor of Senate Bill 350, which would reform the permitting process here in the state, and the bill would require all agencies that issue permits to increase their transparency, posting that information about the permits on their websites, similar to, tracking that package you ordered from Amazon. And the governor has made permitting reform a priority. You shared that executive order that established an entire office just dedicated to the very issue. And we've all heard from these constituents, whether they're municipalities like I discussed earlier. I have a hotelier who shared with me that he not only permitted but built an entire hotel in another state in less time than it took him to get a permit for one in York County. And the challenges with the conservation districts and DEP working together, so much room for improvement. So I appreciated the data that the Deputy Secretary shared in his response to Senator Robinson. For the past 4 years, I've not been able to get that legislation across the finish line. And I really do think that we have an opportunity with regulatory reform and permitting reform being a priority of this administration. Is there a willingness on behalf of the department to codify the governor's executive order and make permitting reform a permanent part of our statute?
We have not had specific conversations around codification of those priorities, but I will tell you this. When the governor first spoke to me about this role, way before I said yes and came here, one of the first things we talked about was permitting. It was foremost in his mind. We had a conversation and we were talking about, he was familiar with my work and my management style and some of the things we accomplished in Philadelphia during the Nutter administration. And when he said to me, and the big sell for him was, this is the department that is the most broken for me and I want you to come fix it. And that was directly tied to the permitting and everything he had been hearing over the campaign trail and over the years, and from his experience as being one of your colleagues. So I don't know if we haven't had a conversation around codification. I'm happy to bring that up with him the next we talk, and when I update him on kind of where we're going and what we're doing, which I do often and frequently. I'm happy to have that conversation, but hopefully we don't need it because we're sitting here a year from now, and I've done things right.
And I will say this, Mr. Secretary, I won't be a senator forever. This governor won't be governor forever.
Yeah.
But the people of Pennsylvania will struggle if we don't permanently fix our permitting process. We'll all be long gone, and those people who will be sitting in our seats will be wishing that we permanently fixed one of the greatest problems that we hear about that's really become, quite honestly, we joke, but there's a lot of seriousness when we say this is great job security for our district office staff because they spend a lot of time trying to resolve people's permitting issues. So I look forward to making this a permanent change for the better here in Pennsylvania with you.